Oh, what tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Those are deep words, and I want you to think about those words. Oh, what tangled webs we weave when first we practice to deceive. I keep telling y'all, man, stop playing with people's feelings, people's emotions. Stop thinking that you can continue to manipulate and cheat and lie and misuse and take advantage of. I guarantee you that not everybody takes that the same way. Some people will walk away. Others will try to walk away and they can't. Not before taking your life. And then they'll walk away to prison. But you know what? Some people will walk away to prison with a smile on their face, knowing that they took you out of this world. This story right here is a story that we followed from its original inception probably about 9, 10 months ago. This story has come full circle. The case has gone to court. The wife has been sentenced. We will run through the story again with official information from what took place, with, of course, dragging your memory a little bit so you understood. As far as I remember, this wifey was trying her best. Her husband cheated all the time, and she was trying her best, but she just could not deal with the cheating anymore. See, any other time she probably would have let him go, do his thing, accept the lie, and even though she know deep down in the pit of her stomach that it was a lie, she would still carry on. You know, that's a lot of people who do this just to hold a marriage together, just so they can say 40, 50 years down the road, oh, we've been married for 50 years. Let me tell you something. I don't want to be married for one day if I'm with a cheating, deceptive liar who has no intentions of ever changing who they are at that moment. I'm not doing no damn 20, 30 years being lied to and knowing I'm being lied to, but sit there and taking it all in until I blow my gasket and end up in prison because I done took somebody's life. This story right here is a perfect example. No, I'm not making any excuses for what she did. Because if it was the other way around and it was he who had killed her, of course, there would be super outrage. When I first covered the story, I was surprised to see a lot of women in the comment section basically honoring her for what she did, celebrating her for what she did. They would say stuff like, well, if you didn't want to get married, you shouldn't have gotten married. And I'm saying, but she killed him. And as much as she could have left herself, I mean, she had options. She didn't have to kill him. But we remember how this story goes, and we're going to take you down the lane right now. So, news headline breaks today. Today is the 16th of the 6th, 2025. A Florida woman is sentenced to 21 years for her Jamaican husband's murder. The Florida woman who shot dead her Jamaican husband last August has been sentenced to 21 years in prison. Denise Nicole Malcolm, she's 46. She pleaded guilty last week to one count of murder in the second degree with a firearm. Malcolm had shot her husband, 52-year-old Rohan Malcolm, a former Jamaica Observer employee, at their Northwest 43rd Street home in Coral Springs on August 31st of 2024. She did not trust him, and she was at her wits' end with his lies and his deceit. That's what the Coral Springs Police Department stated in the arrest affidavit report at the time. She did not trust him and was at her wits' end with his lies and his deceit. I know a lot of people said, well, if that's the case, you should have just gone. You should have just packed your things and left, because you know he was cheating on you, and it wasn't one or two times. But you stayed and stayed until you killed the man. So regardless of whatever the case is, you committed murder. That wedding vow says, till death do us part. Some people take it that serious. The court documents had revealed that one of the couple's 14-year-old twin sons witnessed his father bleeding on the floor of the parents' bedroom after the father was shot multiple times. Rohan was reportedly still alive when his son saw him clutching his shoulder. However, Denise later told detectives that she fired one final shot, killing her husband just as the police arrived. So let me walk you back through the original affidavit. There was an argument in the house. They have twin teenage sons. Those twin sons were in their separate, well, one was in the living room and one was in his bedroom, and they were playing with their gadgets. One was playing a video game and the other one was streaming with his headphones on and did not quite hear what was going on. The one that was in the bedroom heard the gunshots go off. Bow! And he ran out of his bedroom into the living room area. He met up with his brother, like they told the police, and he went into his parents' room. When he went into his parents' room, he saw his dad. His dad was laying on the floor with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. The first shot was a shoulder shot. He would have survived that shoulder shot. She made up her mind, though, that he was going to die today. She still had the gun. The gun was still loaded. It was still pointed at him. She told her children to get out, to leave. They had called the police. One of them had ran and called the police. The other one went into the room to see what was going on. The police arrived swiftly. By the time the police arrived, her world was caving in. She told the children, the police actually surrounded the house. And you know how they surround the house with the bullhorn? And they would say, you inside with the gun. This is the Dade County Police Department. Come out with your hands up, XYZ. She told her children, you go out there. Go to the police. Leave. They went out to the police. Glad she didn't, because this could have turned out way worse. This could have been a case of everybody had to go, right? Luckily, thank God it didn't. The children swiftly left, but one of them saw their dad in there and told the police he's in the room and he's shot in the shoulder. While the police received the two boys outside and decided to breach entry into the house, before they could do that, they heard another shot. Bow! That second shot was a well-placed shot that took him out of this world. They were still there arguing back and forth. She was venting her frustration. You see what you made me do? You see all the stuff you put me through? Tell me you lied to me. Tell me you wasn't lying to me. You did this, XYZ. I guess he continued to lie. You know, sometimes you tell a lie and you tell yourself, say, I'm going to the grave with this lie. See, it was a holiday weekend. I believe it was Memorial Day weekend, I'm not sure, or one of those holidays. They had actually planned a family get-together. They have a nice home with a nice backyard. They had already went out and invited friends and close associates to have this big barbecue family cookout in the backyard. My kids are going to play with your kids. Our friends' kids are going to gather the children, play while the adults have drinks and play dominoes and play music and enjoy ourselves. And this man took his wife shopping for the occasion. You can't imagine she's in a grocery store saying, yeah, we need 2 rack of ribs and we need about 40 pounds of beef and we need X amount of this, that, and the other, and vegetables and juice for the kids and chips and, and she did that with him. And all this time he was doing it, he never told her what he's about to tell her now. It was after they did all the shopping, they came home, they set up the backyard for the party and whatever. He told her he's going away and he might not make it back until the next day because he's going to go drink and play some domino with the boys. And where he was going, I calculated the distance from where their home was located, and that's hours of driving in Florida to get there. So obviously, he wasn't coming home that night. But guess what? She was onto this. And she was like, that ain't no friend. That's a woman. So he was planning to go spend the holiday with a woman instead of with his family. And she was embarrassed because everybody was on their way over at this point, right? You're supposed to be getting the food ready and get ready to receive everybody. And when they get there, they would have only seen her. And of course, everybody would have been asking, where your husband there? Where's your husband? Oh, you here by yourself? Damn, what happened? And it can't be a case of, man, I'm sorry, he had to go to work, they called him in. It would be a case, she has to fix her face to lie and to save the embarrassment, because it would be a case of, man, he said he leaving and he about to go chill with his boys hours away from here and he won't be back till tomorrow. The woman said this was the last straw. She ended up taking his life. Rohan was reportedly still alive when his son saw him clutching his shoulder in that room. Rohan went outside. The son went outside and told the police, my daddy is in there. My daddy is still alive. He got shot in the shoulder. The police report by the police officer's account said as they breached that front door, as they entered the front door to get into the house, heading into the room, because when they got in the front door, the bedroom door that they were in was locked. And as they got into that front door of the house entrance, they heard the other shot go off. What I said, I repeated what she said. And what I said in my last video, YouTube flagged my video for it. She actually told the police that she had one more bullet saved in that gun. And she was thinking about giving it to herself. But then when she looked at him, it was something that he said that made her give him that last bullet and took him out of this world. That's exactly what she told the police. To this day, I want to know what is it that he said that made her give him that last bullet. Now, Denise later told detectives that she fired that final shot, killing him just as they arrived. Well, the police also said the same thing. They heard that one shot go off. Authorities received a phone call from the couple's son around 6:30 p.m. reporting that their father had been shot in the shoulder and that he was still alive, breathing and everything, talking and everything. When police arrived at the home, they issued some verbal commands for the occupants of the house to exit the house. The 14-year-old twins came out of the house with their hands up. That's because their mom told them, go. And she remained inside. Now, while continuing to issue these commands, anybody else inside that house, you need to come on out right now. They're on the bullhorn, right? Officers heard a sound resembling a gunshot from inside the house. During a later interview with detectives, Denise Malcolm reportedly admitted that that sound was that fatal last shot that she fired at her husband. Some people were saying there are two sides to a story, but a dead man can't talk. So she realized that she was going to prison anyways because he was going to be alive after being shot in the shoulder. He probably could have ended up with the house. He would have ended up with the children. He would have ended up with whatever new woman he would have. And she would be doing time in prison. So she said, not the way I work hard and pour into this family. You not sending me away to go do no prison time while you in here with your new woman moving along with life. She knew he would be able to explain to the police what took place. He was not the aggressor, but he was the agitator because action causes reaction. And he should have never strung his wife along all day. Come, let's go shopping. Let's get all the things we need for the barbecue later. And then at the last minute, tell her, I'm leaving right now. Leaving? Where you going? We have company coming over. We have to start cooking. No, man, you can handle that. I'm leaving. I'm going to beat some dominoes and 2 drinks with the boys, you know? Where? Where you going? And he names a place that is far out. And she lost it. She told the police that she knew that her husband was unfaithful, and his unfaithful behavior for almost 2 years prior, he had been really acting up. You know, if he was cheating before, she didn't really catch wind of it and it wasn't really bothering her. But for the last 2 years, the relationship had soured a bit and they were arguing a lot. And he was outside and being outside, and she knew it, right? So she told the police that for the last 2 years prior to this incident happening, you know, he was super unfaithful. And Sunday afternoon shooting came in response to his claims that he was going out with his friends instead of staying home with the family for this barbecue that we're supposed to have, a cookout with family and friends, with everybody on their way over shortly, and you're just going to leave me here. And I lost it. Denise Malcolm then went on to tell the police that the relationship had actually gotten so bad that she and her husband slept in separate bedrooms. And it's like they couldn't really save the marriage because anything he said to her, she was agitated. Anything vice versa, agitation. So they had no common ground anymore. They literally shared the house but slept in separate bedrooms for real. But she was hopeful that this was just a rough patch that her marriage was going through because in her mind, marriage is forever. So even if it's years of uncomfortableness, she was confident that they would eventually find their way back to each other. But it seemed like her husband had other plans and was enjoying himself in the meantime with outside company. She said they slept in separate bedrooms, they engaged in heated arguments constantly, and it was all due to his infidelity, which had all but broken up their marriage. She was no longer feeling safe to give her body to him as her husband. You know, some people are like, what you expect? You that man in another bedroom for 2 years. What, he's supposed to beat his meat for 2 years? He's supposed to be celibate for 2 years? You're his wife. Well, I can't blame her. There are things out here that are incurable. Herpes, syphilis, AIDS. This woman didn't want to catch anything, and she didn't want to be used as some dumping bucket. So she didn't want to be licking off something that some other woman left on her husband. She said it disgusted her just the thought of allowing him to touch her in that way because she knew that he was with others. And you can't blame her. And she lost it. And again, I'm not making excuses for what she did, because at the end of the day, just as much as he should have known better and not cheated, or should have found someplace else to live if he was truly done, she too could have packed her bags and went on her way. But we have a saying, right? And the saying says, the horse that gone through the gate already. That simply means what's done, my friend, is done and cannot be undone. Yeah. And that's one of these cases. It done already. Can't change. What happened? Can't bring him back to life. She make up her mind to kill him, and she did. Now, 21 years, the laws have changed in the state of Florida. They no longer do 21 years, but you're out in 12, 13. You're going to do your 21 years. In her case, the judge said she will do all of the 21 years, and she will have a lot of time to think about what she did. Because as bad as things might have been, she had other choices, but she chose to take away her children's father from them. Not only that, she also chose to take away herself as a mother from them. By all accounts, from what we've heard, from the neighbors, from family members, friends, she was a super mom. She was a very good mother. And he was a very good father. So although they had their differences, I think they both were trying to hold on to that relationship just long enough for the children to be old enough to say, we understand what's going on and y'all can go your separate ways, or something like that. Nobody said any of them were bad parents. They were both good parents to the children. Just he was not being a good husband to her, a faithful husband anyways, and she couldn't handle it. Another thing, he never hit her. He has never hit her. He was not a beater. He was not an aggressive individual. So he wasn't the type to hold her and choke her up or, hey girl, what you do? Any of that. And I think that probably even was to his detriment. Either way you take it, wrong is wrong. And action causes reaction. And there's no excuse for what she did. But we can agree that his action caused her reaction. So again, just as we started this video out, oh, what tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. See, once you start that deception stuff, you have to stick with it. Once you start lying, you have to remember how you told that lie, when you told that lie, what the hell did you say in that lie? That's why it's good to just tell the truth, because you don't have to recall anything. It's just going to flow, and the story will be the same every single time. Her sentence was handed down last Wednesday, and it included 285 days that were credited for her time that she spent in lockup during the pre-trial period. Well, that is it. One person says, cheating is a very hard thing to cope with, but my God, this must have been a very toxic relationship. I'm sorry she didn't get life. Yeah, some people do believe she should have been sentenced to a life sentence. She should have been, but she is not far from life. A life sentence is considered 25 years. She got 21. Some people are saying she should have gotten life without the possibility of parole. I don't know. Should she? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. But before you do all that, right, I want you to think of this as if you were in this situation, or I want you to think of this as if this was your brother or father or favorite uncle or cousin who got killed. Think of it in that way. Do you think she deserved life in prison without parole? Or do you think that he brought this on himself? I'll catch y'all on the next video. Don't be weaving no tangled webs around here. And don't be playing with people's emotions. If you don't want to be in it, leave. Don't do the hopscotch back and forth. I'm in, I'm out. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Done it all together. This is another perfect example of how oftentimes it never ends well. I feel sorry for those twins. They're 14. 14 years old, if you know anything about raising children, that's a critical point in their development. They need all the counseling in the world they can get. They need all the love and support they can get from family and friends. I guarantee you that no one is going to love them unconditionally and treat them like their mother and their father did. But they will never have that again, because by the time their mom gets out of prison, they will be in their 40s, right? Or they're 36. They'll be pushing 40 years old. They don't need a mom to raise them then. And their father, who was supposed to instill manly things in them, teach them the way how to go into adulthood from teenage years, how to be stand-up men, he wasn't leading by any example, and he won't be around to guide his sons. So in the end, the children suffer. Let's close this video like this. If you're a grown person out here and you have children involved, I say this all the time. The children always suffer. Adults always say, I love my children. I'll do anything for my children. That's what they say until things go bad. And once things go bad, I watch this happen every single time. They move on. They break up their families. They choose new partners. They find a way to be happy again. The poor children struggle all the way into adulthood and beyond. So if you really, really love your children, think about the things that you are doing or the things that you might want to do before you do them and the consequences. Like, for instance, if I go out and cheat, I know my wife is not going to stand for it. And if she's not standing for it, that means I'm breaking up my family. And if I'm breaking up my family, that means my babies are going to be growing up in a split family where they only see daddy every now and then. They're going to get the back blow from it. She's going to move on and find somebody else. I'm going to move on and find somebody else. But these babies, they will no longer have what they have now. And they'll never forget it. They'll never forget it. I'll catch y'all on the next video, man. I'm out. Peace.